Backing up on a cold but gorgeous morning. The wind came in at around, I don't know, 4 this morning. We were warned that this was the windy side. It wasn't that bad, but yeah, it's a pretty chilly wind. And we're facing this expletive of a walk back up to the pass. This really is not nice. It's 7:30. We're still not back on the PCT. Completely lost the path going up. Ended up bushwalking.
Scramble all the way through. No real path.
Don't know whether you can hear what Brian said. I mean, we just totally lost the path. On the way down it was bad enough with all the blowdowns and people going this way and that way. You're trying to follow footsteps that don't exist. On the way up we just completely lost it and ended up bushwalking up the hill. So I would say Apache Springs, only use it in the utmost need. Nothing wrong with the water, but the way down and up is, We're about 5 minutes away from the spring and we have hit the snow. So this is the snow as of, I don't know, 17th of April?
Yeah, 13th.
13th, okay.
Yeah. Hardy going across. Just make sure your foot is stuck, because that's the long drop down there. Yeah, you can still see the mountain just through there.
And this is how an engineer does it. Nice and slow. I must say the micro spikes are brilliant. I mean, it does feel very secure walking in them, but yeah, don't get overconfident. Because as Brian said, it's a long way down with very little to hold on to. You can see why the snow lingers on this side. It's north facing and in trees, and then as soon as the trees stop, yay, and the snow.
Let's hope I don't make it collapse.
And there's a second little, oops, like second little snowshoe. Brian just started stepping onto it. The soil is really, really loose. We put our spikes back on because, I mean, I know it's very short, but better safe than sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that one's actually nastier than the last one, even though it is so short.
It's a lot softer. See that? But just there, someone fell. You can see them slide, slide, slide. Make sure you have some sort of micro spikes, because this is quite dangerous. It is a big fall.
No pain, no gain, as they say. This is all manner of beautiful. But boy does it hurt getting here. And by contrast, just over that cusp of the hill I just showed you, this is clearly the side that had a fire.
Yeah, not much. It's a shame.
It's like a moonscape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of a view over everything. We now know that this is Palm Springs, not Palm Desert. Apparently back there, I don't know if you can see it, it's the Salton Sea. And we have decided between us that the large body of water we couldn't identify over there somewhere is in fact probably Lake Hammett, because, you know, it's kind of Idlewild, just over the next ridge, so it makes sense. And there's a third patch of ice, snow. This one was almost, well, we did it without microspikes, which seemed like a good idea until we hit the shadowy bit under the rock, where it got really quite icy.
Yeah,
the rest of it, the rest of it that's exposed to the sunlight is slushy enough now to just walk through, but yeah, there's a tiny bit here. Which mileage are we at?
Stay with me. 173.9. Still getting a lot of blowdowns, but yeah, the views to kill for. Not die for, but kill for. There's me anyway. Heidi's behind me. Stick it. Ah, there she is. And this is where we're going. Not too bad at the moment. Not ready. It's going up and down softly. Well, waiting for the big ups. There's me, and there's Heidi.
Making coffee.
She's making coffee. And tea.
But mainly coffee.
But look at them views behind us. We're starting to get eyes, so we've been walking for 3 hours. There's Heidi. And you can see where we're going. Along there, up there, to there, over to there, and then I don't know where we're going. But it's not bad going up here. You go up a bit, then it's flattish, then you go up another bit, flattish. Yesterday was just a relentless up and up.
One good thing about snow, you can use it to cool yourself down.
And we need it. This is what we're walking at. Views either side. You got that one. Or that one. Walking along this ridge.
Found an unexpected water source about 2 miles before the actual water source. So we decided to stop for lunch, for a very long lunch, and
go for all the water for today and tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, touch wood.
We're getting all our water sorted. And I've just discovered that I've been wearing my top inside out all day long. Now that saying, did you get dressed in the dark? Yeah, I did.
Just nearly went through a hole, but me stick did.
Yeah, very real possibility of post-holing this time of the day. The steps are nice and established, but yeah, always check, always check. There's the water source we've been aiming for all along. Now you can see that. Proper snow bridge on it. Well, that was all sorts of unpleasant. We were following people's footsteps through the snow, and we seemed to have followed the wrong set because we ended up way down there in the valley. This is the trail. I just did a pretty sheer climb up this snow wall to try and regain the trail. It's easily done. You can't. I mean, for most of it, since we've collected the water, just very shortly afterwards, the snowfield started, and it hasn't ended yet. And we're past. Where are we now? We're past Taqua's Peak Junction,
yeah,
which I think was about 3 miles from there. I might be exaggerating, but it feels like it.
178.3.
178.3, yeah. We passed the water source, which was about 2 miles from the water source that we took water in, so we have been walking through snow pretty much solidly for 2.5 miles. And it's slushy and slippy. This is the inglorious end to the hardest day we've ever done. This is our tent. This is the PCT. Trail. Tent. This isn't even a campsite, it's the first flat spot we could find. It's getting on to 7. Setting up the tent for when yeah, we've had enough. It took us 10 hours to do less than 10 miles today.
All the way. Stop for everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, those last 2.5 miles, whatever, 3 miles. I mean, the snow still hasn't ended, as you can see. It's going to go all the way to Subtle Junction. Don't know whether it's going to go beyond, but we're done for the night.
Yeah, no beer though. Where's the beer?
After all that effort. So we started the terrible climb up from Apache Spring to the Apache Peak trail junction. Which, yeah, it was worse going up than it was going down, which shouldn't have been possible, but as we said, we got completely lost and bushwhacked through some very unpleasant terrain. Once you're actually then back on the PCT, the going's quite easy, but this is where the snow starts, pretty much straight after Apache Peak. The first bits of icy snow started, but we had our we put our micro spikes on, and it didn't seem that bad. And we'd heard reports that, you know, there were patches here, patches there, and then a sort of a longish patch. Well, we did all right going along the ridge. It's very, very pretty again. But the longish patch then ended up just not ending, if that makes any sense. It was just an endless long patch. Once it started, like 3-4 miles of snow that we weren't entirely prepared for, to be honest. Yeah, so it was all snow, and we just basically followed other people's footsteps in the hope that they knew what they were doing, which turned out to be a bad move, because when we finally turned guthooks on, as we were starting to get a bit, you know, suspicious of where we were heading, we found that we were sort of here, right between where we should be. PCT to that side, PCT above us, PCT to the other side, and we were like in the middle of that, so we ended up having to snow whack back up onto the trail. And because we hadn't seen anywhere snow free, and including one of the sites marked as a campsite that was also covered in snow, we basically just pulled up just before Subtle Junction, purely because there was a clean piece of path. So we're now sort of within half a mile of Subtle Junction and staying here tonight in the hope that the snow will end tomorrow.